Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news, and we gotta talk about the Nintendo Switch today because they have an amazing exclusive lineup for early 2021. Yeah, new Pokemon Snap got an official release date today, and it's coming real soon. And I mean, when you start to really look at it, the Switch is already having a massive year, and this is just the beginning. I'm expecting a lot more, and I'll explain why later in the video. Also, could Xbox be closing on yet another acquisition? They're not even completely finished with the Bethesda acquisition, but they might be looking to buy their next studio, or maybe even IP. So stay tuned for that, but first let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with a brand new Nintendo Switch game. This just kind of adds to what I was talking about with the introduction, but the Switch is putting out an amazing lineup of games in the first half of 2021, and Blue Fire is one of those games. Now, this is just a smaller game made by an independent studio, but at the end of the day, a good game is a good game. I like a wide variety of games myself, if that wasn't already very obvious from all of the videos on this channel, and I think independent games are often the most fun. So when I look at Blue Fire, that's exactly what stands out to me. It looks like a ton of fun, and from what I've seen, it looks very promising. It's supposedly inspired by Zelda and its dungeons, which is already great news for Nintendo fans, though it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dark Souls. I'm not sure why, it might be the atmosphere, but it does look like a challenging game. It's got nice hack and slash combat and tight platforming as well. From top to bottom, I think it looks really good. When can you play this game yourself though? Well, you're actually not going to have to wait all that long, as it's now officially coming to the Nintendo Switch and Steam on February 4th. Yeah, not even a month away, so you might want to check this one out when it releases next month. Whether you play on PC or the Switch, this game looks to have a lot of potential. These type of games don't always get the best reviews, but I expect fans of this genre to really like Blue Fire from what I've seen personally. Also, we got a big showcase next week. This kind of came out of nowhere, but Resident Evil has its own showcase set for January 21st. This is where we're going to finally see Resident Evil Village gameplay. I mean, they've shown a few trailers so far, but we still haven't seen gameplay, and that's of course what we all want to see. Village is supposed to release in the first half of 2021, and you know gameplay is important in order to entice customers, so we do get to finally see that ourselves. I do fully expect a release date to be announced here too. I'm hoping Village is still coming in early 2021, but delays are inevitable in this difficult time. You just never know. I am really excited to see Resident Evil Village, however. Capcom has been doing an exceptional job with Resident Evil in recent years. All of the remakes are among my favorite last generation games, especially Resident Evil 2, and I also thought Resident Evil 7 was great as well. I know it's a bit different than some of the other Resident Evil games because it's set in first person, but I think it fits the franchise perfectly. I'm not saying every Resident Evil game should be in first person, but I'm okay with them mixing things up here and there. It's a nice change of pace, and it does make the game feel more claustrophobic and scary at times. The basement in Resident Evil 7 was absolutely terrifying, in my opinion. It's also a good VR experience if you've tried that out. Now, they're also teasing some other Resident Evil news as well, because this is the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil. As I keep saying, you're going to hear a lot about anniversaries this year. I mean, there's a lot of big games with meaningful anniversaries in 2021. There's actually a closed beta that you can register for right now. They're not saying exactly what this mysterious game is just yet, but we do know it's multiplayer. It's up to 4 to 6 players, and I'm sure they can do some interesting things with that and the Resident Evil franchise combined. We'll have to wait and see, but if you want to sign up for the closed beta, I'll leave a link in the description below. Either way, mark your calendars for January 21st if you want to tune in for that Resident Evil showcase. I'm expecting some exciting stuff here, and possibly more than just Resident Evil Village. There's also a rumor of Resident Evil Revelations 3 coming later this year to the Switch, so that might pop up at this event. I guess we'll see soon. Moving on, one early game that has both been praised and heavily criticized for the Xbox Series X and PS5 has been Assassin's Creed Valhalla. On one side of things, it's a really good Assassin's Creed game, and it's one of the better looking games out right now. It can be visually stunning at times, but bugs and performance has been a bit of a hot topic for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. A lot of this has unfortunately been console war related, and I'm not even going to get into all that. It's absolutely ridiculous, honestly. Just be happy that games look good on both platforms, but there is some good news here. Ubisoft just pushed out a huge update for Valhalla. It apparently makes over 100 changes and additions to the game, fixing several bugs and also improves performance and stability. The Xbox Series X got a massive 7.5 gigabyte update. The Xbox One 6.6 gigabytes, PS5 2 gigabytes, the PS4 3 gigabytes, and the PC 6.45 gigabytes. So this is a rather large update, though I'm not sure why the Xbox and PC version is so much larger in comparison to PlayStation. Maybe those versions had more bugs or something like that, but either way, hopefully this will improve Valhalla's overall experience. They did note that it fixes various graphical issues, so I'm hoping every version of the game performs and looks as good as what fans are hoping for. If you play Valhalla, however, let me know if you noticed improved performance and what version are you playing. Also, PlayStation is going all out on PlayStation-related movies and TV shows. We heard last month in December that they were working on around 10 different PlayStation-related movies and shows. We don't know if that includes the Uncharted movie or the Last of Us show, but from what we heard, they are working on several PlayStation-related IP. Well, that's all seemingly been confirmed yet again, as PlayStation boss Jim Ryan at CES said that the Uncharted movie and the Last of Us series is just the beginning of non-gaming PlayStation projects. Jim Ryan went on to say that they are thrilled to bring some of the best PlayStation IP to media and television, and that Sony is a creative entertainment company, and entertainment has never been more important. So with all of that said, it sounds like PlayStation is absolutely committed to this, and I think this is very exciting for not only fans of PlayStation, but games as a whole. This is a great way to get more people interested in games, and a very smart way to expand on your universes. There is that mass market out there that could end up liking a movie like Uncharted, and then want to go out and try the games as well. If you take a look at The Witcher as an example, after the Netflix series aired in late 2019, The Witcher 3 sales absolutely exploded. It was a massive jump very late into its life cycle, which normally doesn't happen to games. It just kind of shows you that if a show or movie is successful, it can also impact the game's success. I think that's probably what PlayStation is hoping to do with their IP. Of course, they need to make good movies or shows, but based off their storytelling and games, I think that they can pull this off. I want to know what they're working on though. I think Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Cooper would all be great choices, but let me know what PlayStation games you would like to see make that entertainment transition. Let's talk about Nintendo though, because they just announced the official release date for new Pokemon Snap. It's officially set to release on April 30th. Yeah, that's just a few short months away, and I just want to say, this game looks stunning. I know this is just a Pokemon game, so it's not the most realistic game in the world, but its art direction is simply superb, which has been interesting to see. Some fans kind of seem annoyed by this fact because the mainline Pokemon games doesn't look nearly as good as new Pokemon Snap does visually. And that's the thing, new Pokemon Snap is being developed by Bandai Namco. Of course, Pokemon Sword and Shield is developed by Game Freak, which has been heavily criticized by fans for various reasons. I just want to say though, I enjoyed Sword and Shield. I understand where fans are coming from and they want the visuals to look better in those games, but I still think that they're great games. Nonetheless, new Pokemon Snap looks absolutely superb, and really, if you start to look at things, the Nintendo Switch early 2021 lineup is insane. So in the first 4 months of the year, the Switch will be getting Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury, Bravely Default 2, Monster Hunter Rise, and now new Pokemon Snap. That's not even including all the interesting independent games that are coming to the Switch, but that is an amazing lineup of games. And we know Nintendo has some big plans for later in the year as well. It is the 35th anniversary for both Zelda and Metroid. I fully expect Breath of the Wild 2 to release in 2021, and there are some rumors of a new 2D Metroid game coming later this year. Mercury Steam is very possibly working on a new 2D Metroid. I also wouldn't doubt if we get a Metroid Prime Trilogy remaster and a Zelda compilation similar to what they did for Mario 35th anniversary. I also talked about this yesterday, but it's also the 25th anniversary for Pokemon, and new Pokemon Snap is a part of that. The thing is, Pokemon Day takes place on February 27th, and Insider Kelios is saying that there will be a Pokemon Direct next month. So we very well could see more big Pokemon games released later this year. Supposedly a Diamond and Pearl remake is coming soon, according to Kelios, and then a new Detective Pikachu. Now all of this isn't confirmed just yet, but if all of this happens, this is going to be a massive year for the Nintendo Switch. I truly believe this will possibly be the best year for the Nintendo Switch so far. I'm expecting some huge news throughout the year, but nonetheless, new Pokemon Snap looks awesome. I love the original and it was a big part of my childhood. It's hard to explain why this game is so good, but it's probably my favorite Pokemon spinoff to this day, and I'm hyped up to play the new one. On to our last bit of news though, is Xbox really looking to acquire a new studio? This is coming from Brad Sams, which is a highly respected Microsoft insider, and he put up a very mysterious tweet. So let's check this out. His first tweet is simply some eyeballs, cash, and an Xbox controller emoji, which is very vague, but then right after that he says, "There's a lot of money flowing around game companies right now, several getting multiple bids. Not sure when or if any of these will close, but gaming IP valuations are soaring." So based off these tweets, it sounds like Brad Sams just got some new information about Xbox placing a bid on either a studio or a game-related IP. Now this isn't shocking because based off what Satya Nadella said last year after the Bethesda acquisition, back then it did sound like that they would continue looking for more studios, as they should be because of Xbox Game Pass. They need consistent content for Xbox Game Pass, and that's why they aren't slowing down. However, it is interesting to see Brad Sams tweet this out all of a sudden. Brad Sams is a smart guy, and he knows that fans are going to speculate based off this tweet. He didn't back down though, and in fact, later on, somebody asked him on Twitter which studio might be joining Xbox, and he responded with a winking emoji. He clearly knows something behind the scenes, and the tweet he responded to had some interesting names. This included Bloober, Asobo, Playful, and GSC Game World. All four of these would make sense. All four of these studios have great relationships with Xbox, but if I were to make a guess, I would say Bloober or Asobo. Bloober is releasing the Medium later this month exclusively for the Xbox Series X. I personally think that game looks great, and it reminds me of the old school Resident Evil and Silent Hills games. Then you have Asobo, which is the studio behind Flight Simulator and A Plague's Tale. They're a very talented team, and they've directly worked with Xbox Game Publishing on Flight Simulator. Now, they've also worked on some other games with Xbox in the past, so they would make a lot of sense for Xbox. Now, with all of that said, Brad Sams did note that he is not sure when or if any of these bids will close, so this is not a guarantee or anything like that, and if they do acquire somebody, it does not mean it's one of the four studios in the tweet he responded to. Again, it just seems like he is teasing some kind of Xbox acquisition, and he is an insider with a great track record. I will ask you though, if Xbox does acquire another studio soon, who do you think it'll be? Could it be Asobo, Bloober, or is this going to be a studio that nobody expected? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.